Aloha and welcome to Honolulu to PTC'25 to the networking floor, where I'm now joined by Brandon Amber, Chief Strategic Officer at Doma Infrastructure Group, and Clement Goh, Chief Executive Officer for also Doma Infrastructure Group, and both co-founders of the company. Guys, welcome to PTC. How many PTCs have you been to? What number is this?
It's probably 8 for me now.
8,
Yeah,
wow.
Probably over 10 over the years.
All right, so you're pre-COVID attendees.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
you can
yeah,
have a good comparison.
Yeah, it's grown tremendously. It's been an awesome event.
Absolutely. I mean, but you're doing an amazing job on the other side of the ocean from this island. So over in Asia, you've just created a whole new platform called Doma Infrastructure Group. Before we jump into what the company is doing and what the plans are, talk us about the market dynamics. Why was there a need for a new platform to come into market? What's driving that?
Maybe I can start first. If you look at Asia Pacific, it's made up of different countries with different business nuances. So we noticed that a lot of the operators and end users, they're finding it very difficult in sourcing the right land and getting the permitting of power done, construction permit, and all this other stuff they need to do before they even get to launch their business. So there is a gap for a platform like ourselves to help them do all this pre-site selection kind of work, so that they can just get on with their business to build data centers and serve their customers.
Okay. Are you facing any challenges? I mean, we just heard some of the panels at this conference, and you chaired one of them as well this morning. And we heard things around power, around communication, that we need more collaboration within players in the industry. And of course, there's a big government play now into digital infrastructure like we haven't seen in a long time. What challenges are you facing, or do you see, what challenges do you see in the Asia-Pacific landscape?
Well, I think that's the challenges of why we felt like there was a market opportunity, where we, in our previous roles, we felt like we started to see some of those things from the investment side, from the fiber, the dark fiber side, and we said we didn't want to be another data center operator, but how can we help alleviate, like, getting power to the site, getting enough water in a roadmap, and getting the land cleared so it is shovel ready. And that's where we started to look around Asia, where our expertise was, to say stack rank the markets, look at where we could add value instead of just, kind of just being a flipper of land. Where do we say we can take it from a raw land to a shovel ready to core and shell, and the time to market, alleviate some of those issues for DC operator or the hyperscaler, to be able to then they take it the faster time to market for their end customer or their own personal use.
And also it's very important for someone to understand the dynamic and then work with a local party that can help to solve some of these problems. So one of the key go-to-markets or business model that we have is to do joint venture with landowners in this market, which will make sure that we will be able to get through all this difficulty with their expertise on the ground, and having the relationship with the authorities and the government.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because there's always a culture that needs to be respected. Doing business in Asia is not doing the same thing as doing business in the US. Doing business in Europe is not the same thing as doing business in Latin America.
Yeah, but a lot of people have that blanket view, like, I go into Europe, I go into Asia, it's the same thing.
It's not a playbook.
But where the markets where we look, a developed market like Japan has certain processes, very different than in Malaysia or Thailand or even in Australia. So I think, because of the network that we built, the good rapport that we've had over the years, we've been able to access people that are local market experts to be able to give us access to the right landowners that understand, and they bring their own value to the table, but they don't have that data center expertise. So it is a good partnership to come together to have this type of opportunity and then be able to fast track for everybody else. So we definitely see we're very early days of the growth of these sectors and these markets that we look at.
I know it's named like both of your names yourselves that actually do help drive platforms like this, because people will know you. I mean, you've got very good backgrounds with Equinix, with Digital Bridge, so you've got the baggage to build something. When you look into capital raising, when you look like who's going to finance all this, what are you guys doing? How does that work for Doma?
So it's been a journey in the last 1 year, but we have a capital partner It's a US fund. We're not ready to announce that yet.
I wanted to ask you, like, I don't know the answer.
So it will be announced soon. You know, our capital partners.
Is it the big ones?
It's a little bit shy. It's big.
New York big?
Yeah. So it's a US fund. So you know, we'll announce it in due time.
Okay.
I think it'll be quite soon.
Yeah.
But I would say that journey to get them comfortable, they've already been in the data center space. They haven't done it in they understand real estate. So we've gone through pension funds, sovereigns, private equity, digital infra, real estate. So it's not a fast process. You know, there's plenty of capital out there, but what we're doing is a little bit different. So there's certain pockets of capital, certain levels of comfort, and then taking on that journey. One, yes, we get in the door because of our expertise and the relationship we had, but it's still, they got to go through a broader buy-in for their IC. Taking investors on that journey, it's, you know, they have an understanding. The people we talk to like have a knowledge base, because we did try to talk to people that didn't understand data centers, and it's just very difficult for them to understand the metrics, understand the sectors. They all want to get into the space, but certain ones are a little bit smarter. But then it's just getting comfortable with us and the team. And the business model, as we say, it's not a fast process.
There's a lot of new platform out there looking for capital.
It's a lot of competition.
So that we have a lot of competition as well, right? So the partner, you know, have to evaluate, and I think we brought them through the journey. They got comfortable with us, and they saw what we can bring to the table, the type of relationship we bring to the table, the type of landowners that we can, you know, joint venture with. I think I would like to say that I think we've impressed them in the last 1 year to get to where we are.
Okay. Before we go into market consolidation geography, just how much are you looking to raise for the first part of the projects?
Well, it's not, right now, it's not the specific project. It's getting an allocation of it's allocation of capital to be able to draw down.
Okay.
And then it's still, you have to go and get the commitments. I mean, we're going to have our own IC, and making sure that the business works from the donor perspective and also the investor perspective. So the initial, I mean, we're trying still access to hundreds of millions of dollars as we kind of, because it's land development, it's taking raw land to, industrial to core, to powered land, still takes capital of substations, fiber, water, power. And then from there, then it ratchets up in the amount of capital that you need to start building core and shell and everything else.
Now, once we get the core and shell, there's always option of going on to debt, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the capital.
Which has become a more common avenue of
and then
conducting.
as you say, once we have customers and contracts, yes, there's global banks or regional banks, that want to be able to be part of that. And they have their different risk profile of when they're willing to invest and debt finance the projects.
Before we jump into geography, sorry, one more step back. As you were mentioning competition, there's more platforms in the market. What's the competition landscape in APAC? And do you see any consolidation wave coming in? Because we've had it on a global stage. We've seen companies like Cyrus One, QTS. We've seen all those guys coming and going. We've seen a lot in Europe, but now it's sort of the phase of new platforms arising, so like Doma. Are we going to see a consolidation phase at some point? This is not about Doma itself, but market dynamics.
And I think I want to make sure that I get the right message across. Yeah. While Doma is a platform, but it's different from the rest of the platform. We do not operate. We're doing the power land, power shell investment. If you look at the data center platform, those who are doing operation, yes, there's a lot of them, and I think there will be consolidation. I think the hyperscalers are also building up their capability to do self-serve. So they are going after less and less opportunity out there. So, or customer, I would say, and opportunity might be bigger in size, but lesser in terms of the number of customers they can go after. So for us, I think our concept is pretty new in Asia Pacific. It is a concept that has been very successful in the US. And we like to say that we are first mover in terms of what we are doing.
Absolutely. And then geography. So you've made headlines that you're looking up to about 1,500 megawatts, 1.5 gigawatts in Thailand, 50, 60 megawatts in Sydney. I mean, I'm sure these numbers are going to grow even more. Yeah. What's the geographic play here? You've mentioned, I've seen an interview that you've done where you mentioned Southeast Asia, East or North Asia as well. So there's a lot of places you want to go. Talk us through the geography. Where are you going to put pins on the map?
So the way we look at it, there's two types of market that will require our service. One is the new market or emerging market where it's very difficult to operate, very difficult for a lot of the hyperscalers and operators to navigate. So that will be Southeast Asia, right? Within Southeast Asia, we have Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia that we are looking at. And then of course you have the other category of market, which are what we call the constrained market. They are mature but constrained market, very difficult to get land and power. So North Asia will be Korea and Japan, and then further south will be Australia.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting markets. You're not going to give me more locations. Not going to be more specific.
Oh, if you drill down,
lift the veil on it.
I mean, it's really right now more out the gate. It's Thailand, Australia, and Sydney, but we're still looking at Melbourne. And then I think next would be Malaysia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Japan is the long game.
Yeah.
So as long we've both worked in that market, we've done stuff in that market, but we have a high conviction that there's still opportunities both in Osaka and Tokyo. But I think the large scale campus won't be the kind of play. It'll be the 30 to 100 megawatt type of stuff is going to be that sweet spot, and it'll be unless there's an outlier. But Tokyo, Osaka still needs DC, still needs kind of capacity. So, and if we're able to shorten that time for whatever with the right local partner, I think there's a value add for us to play the Japan market.
Definitely a super interesting market.
And in Malaysia, just to narrow down for you, JB.
JB.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still conviction on JB.
Malaysia, you're going to do KL or you're going to do Johor?
We're going to do Johor first for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's the hub.
Yeah.
Quick question on power. How is it to find power in Asia? Because there are resources, but some things might not be as evolved as, for example, in Europe when it comes to sustainability. So how do you navigate that? Is that as important in Asia as it is in other parts of the world? And actually, I'll add one more question to that. Would energy potentially become a business stream for Doma, or are you still very much looking at it, just keeping it, just developing the facility, the real estate?
So answer the first question first.
Yeah.
I think in terms of power sustainability, yes, customers are asking for it if they can have access. But in constrained market where they have no choice, I think it's whatever is out there.
And demand outstrips sustainability conversation.
Right. Because a lot of the Asia infrastructure are still not mature enough to catch up to the sudden spike in demand for data centers. The power infrastructure is still catching up, right? But I think we'll get there. There are hydro, solar, thermal power across the Southeast Asia, and I guess whether will we get into that business? Never say never, but at the moment we'll just keep it as that.
Yeah,
it's becoming a topic conversation. It's becoming interesting.
Oh yeah, but I think as you heard from the panel, a lot of the private equity or infrastructure funds, some of them already do stuff in the renewables or energy generation, power generation space. Some of them even have solar or solar partnerships in Malaysia. So I think we will, along with others, be able to tap into some of that. But it's just how much of the offset can we model right now? It's probably a smaller amount. We hope that it will increase just like the rest of the world. But I think we have to kind of wait and see how that renewable angle plays and where we can access that in a market to market.
One thing I can say is having a partner who has power business as well do help.
And energy.
Do have energy license or permit or are producing power. Those guys are a perfect partner for us when it comes to building data centers. So that and some of our partners
have land.
And some
source of life right now.
So some of our partners have land and power infrastructure. So that's perfect.
So win-win. Well, I'm not going to keep you for much longer. So one final question. We are now, of course, at PTC'25. When we come back in 12 months for PTC'26, what's the one thing you expect the digital infrastructure space or the data center world to have done, agreed, achieved in 1 year's time? Just one thing. What's the one priority for the next 12 months for this space?
That's a good question. I think
there's a lot of priorities. That's the problem.
For the sector, I think it's building a better and stronger relationship with governments and energy generation within some of these markets, and really some of the power companies that are quasi-government and stuff like that, and really starting to formulate a broader partnership or coming to that table to with the money, with the operators, with the hyperscalers, and then the government angle. I think it won't be something finished, but at least an outline for that vision of what's next for our industry as a whole. I think we'd like to see that, and I think we want to be at least a seat at the table of how we see Asia, not just the US market, being played out.
Yeah. The other thing is having a closer working relationship with the end user or hyperscaler, where they can then forecast their demand much clearer. Today, it's very ad hoc, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think because the sudden raise in demand for AI, they're just saying, oh, I need 10 here, 50 there, 100 at this location.
And then that's going to be hard for the
yeah,
power.
It's very difficult for infrastructure folks to prepare for that, right?
Yeah.
Because those infrastructure project and even our land project take years to develop.
Fruition,
right?
yes.
You can't say I want it within the next 2 weeks, 2 months.
But that's a very good point, because even when we talk about things like nuclear and developing projects, all these things are 4, 5, 6 years
You've
away.
got to have all the different stakeholders involved.
But when we
That's
have
the problem.
conversations, everyone seems to be in the present. But we don't have this conversation today. You're not going to build a gigawatt tomorrow, as in literally tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's a good point that people need to understand. It does take time, but
Yeah.
people need to action on things as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But Clement Goh and Brendan and Amber, both co-founders of Doma Infrastructure Group. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's been a pleasure. As for you at home, thank you for watching, and do check our website and social media for the latest news from across the globe on digital infrastructure. At Tech Capital, you lead, we report. Bye for now.